In today's video, I'm going to be looking at penny stocks in India, as well as what's happened with markets overall this morning. And in addition to all of that, we're going to have a quick look at the Bank of Korea. Hello, and welcome to another ACY Securities Market Update. My name is Alistair Schultz, and I'm going to be your host through today's trading journey. The first thing I'm looking at today is just to give you a bit of an update, because it's been a few days since I've done one of these. Currently, we have 24 million cases of coronavirus around the globe, and nearly 822,000 deaths. So we are still seeing those numbers creep along, but economies are just trying to get along with it as they have seen anyway. Now, moving on, the markets this morning were mixed on open. We've had Japan shares fall, we've seen Korean and Australian stocks sitting pretty flat. We've also had the S&P and the NASDAQ sort of retrace a little bit after it did new highs yesterday. Now, we're expecting to see some more coming tonight, but of course, we've also got US Treasuries have moved up from last night's action. Tonight, we're going to be seeing some news come out from Fed Powell. Now, he is expected to be making some discussions. There's a lot of speculation about what he's actually going to be discussing and what his statement's actually going to be about. Now, some of the implications that we see at this point is it's largely probably going to be put on towards inflation and how they might be looking to mandate new policies in the future towards battling it. Now, moving on for the day, Bank of Korea has put its rates on hold. It's held the main interest rate, it's also held the repurchase rate, and at this point in time, their GDP forecast has shrunk a little. Now, in May, last time they gave us a forecast, it was 0.2%. Now we're looking at a 1.2% contraction, or at least that's what their expectations are for this year. Now, moving on, we've also seen trading halted at the New Zealand Stock Exchange. The NZX saw a cyber attack yesterday that halted trading for 3 hours. Today, the same sort of attack has occurred. It seems to be affecting more on the monetary market side of things than the stocks themselves, but it is still causing them a little bit of woes. Effectively, they're not getting a pricing feed at certain times, and they're concerned that the hack is doing more damage than they know about. So at this stage, they have halted trading. We're not quite sure when it's going to reopen. However, we would have to anticipate that it should be sometime later this afternoon, and if it isn't, then it will likely be tomorrow. Now, having a look at something else that's caught my eye this week, penny stocks out of India. I know it's an obscure one, and when the penny drops on these sort of things, it is something that just stands out a lot. Now, the interesting factor that I'm seeing here is a lot of these penny stocks out of India, and penny stocks across the globe for that matter, are not making profits, they're not making sales, and therefore they've just got about losses on their balance books. So it's interesting to see that two companies here have increased phenomenally. TransGlobe Foods Limited, 4,300% this year alone. Now, in addition to that, we've also got Pre-Coated Steels Limited at 1,300% this year alone. Both of these companies have not made a sale and have not made profits this year at all. So for them to rise that sort of value is just ludicrous in my mind. There are other companies along with this that have happened, but if you were to look at the S&P equivalent in India, you would find that they've also had a 90% increase since the bottom that we saw in March. So definitely something to keep your eyes on if you are in those penny stock fields. Now, moving on to the news ahead of tonight. We have European M3 monetary policy and money supply data coming out. We're going to be seeing from Canada current account figures, so that might be important to see on trade. We've also got US preliminary GDP for this quarter. Now, in addition, because it is a preliminary GDP, remember, prelims have more impact than the officials later down the track, because usually those have got a few edited results. Now, looking at other parts, we've got US unemployment claims, Fed Chair Powell speaking tonight, Australian Eastern Standard Time at 12:15 a.m. That will be one to watch, and there's quite a few people concerned about what might be happening, particularly given the state that we've seen in monetary policy reports over the last couple of weeks, where we have been somewhat disappointed by the amount of impact that the Fed is trying to make on dealing with yield curve control and dealing with inflation. Now, having a look at the next stage, we've also got Bank of Canada, Governor McClem speaking, and from there tomorrow, as a part of the Fed Chair Powell's, we've got the Jackson Hole meeting all day. So we might see more than just Fed Powell speaking, but he's scheduled to be the big one for us to keep an eye on. Now, that's all I've really got for you today to have a look at. We are winding up towards the end of the week, so I hope you do have a good trading week for the rest of what there is. If you do have any questions from today's video or any of the other videos I've done in the past, feel free to shoot me an email at talktoal@acy.com. And of course, you can always message me at any of my other social channels. Now, otherwise, I do hope you have a good trading day ahead, and that'll be all for now.